Today, I'm setting out to answer that perennial, unsolved mystery of computer science. Just how many floppy drives is too many floppy drives? Is it 34? And just what can one do with 34 USB floppy drives? I could power my car with them. Doesn't fit. Maybe I could shingle my roof with them. I can't reach it. I know. Let's RAID 0 all of these things together into one giant mega floppy and then try to install stuff to it. Grab on to your magnetic platters because this is gonna get weird. So stay tuned. And if you enjoy the sound of scores of floppy drives screaming in unison as we mash them together into some sort of floppy abomination, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. We do lots of computery shenanigans around here, and well, most of them make more sense than this, but only just. I feel like this is gonna fall. RAIDs are one of the marvels of computer storage, where you can take multiple drives and use them together as one. RAID stands for Redundant Array of Inexpensive Disks, although ours here is going to be more ridiculous than redundant, so how about Ridiculous Array of Inexpensive Floppies? RAIF. I like it. There's 5 levels of RAID, or in our case, RAIF. RAID 0 combines all of the disks together into one virtual bigger disk and stripes the data across them with no concern for redundancy. If any one of our disks fail, all of the data is lost, which makes it perfect for 34 20-year-old floppy disks. Should be fine. There's also RAID 1, 5, 6, and 10, which offer various levels of redundancy and or striping, or something like that. I'm not an expert. What I do know is that macOS 10 has, for decades, made it ridiculously easy to set up a RAID. And in fact, my inspiration for this was a 20-year-old article in Macworld covering a post on Boing Boing, yeah, that old, which told the tale of Daniel Olson, a computer shenanigans visionary who worked at YE Data Corp, a company that made, among other things, USB floppy drives. And in a moment of inspiration, he connected 5 of them up to his 500 megahertz iMac G3 running macOS 10.2, and he set them up in a RAID, which to his surprise worked just fine, and actually seemed faster than any one individual floppy drive did on its own. I even found a picture of this ungainly abomination in a follow-up Wired article. Just beautiful. So today, we're going to try and out-floppy Mr. Olson and RAID together 34 USB floppy drives. I've got 2 big, beefy, powered USB hubs, and yeah, we'll have to scrounge around for a suitable power Mac. But first, a word from the sponsor of today's video, PCBWay. Long famous for being a one-stop shop for high-quality PCB prototyping and production, PCBWay offers a ton of services for every step of your project, including 3D printing, injection molding, CNC machining, and even sheet metal fabrication. They even offer high-quality PCB assembly services. Get those hard-to-solder SMD components professionally assembled and shipped right to your door. Right now, there's a special deal on assembly services, only $30 for 1 to 20 pieces. So, if you have any PCB needs, I hope you'll give PCBWay.com a try. So this seems like a great opportunity to pull out the old PowerMac G4 466 digital audio, one of my favorite PowerMac designs of all time with the sleek gray and the pinstriping. Now, I did start out by testing some of these USB drives just one by one to see if they work because, yeah, I got them from all over the place. The thrift store, eBay, Amazon, just a real mix of all kinds of different brands and qualities. And I figure probably the smartest way to go about this would be to test these in pairs and try to see which ones would actually show up and which ones would actually raid against one another. So try to make 2 floppy drive at a time raids and weed out any of them that don't work. But that sounds really boring, so better idea. Let's just YOLO all of these at once into the computer and see what happens. All right, let's plug in each of these hubs and see what happens. Oh God, they're all clicking on. Okay, well, big surprise, they didn't all just magically work, so now is when it really comes in handy that I bought these USB hubs with all of these buttons and lights on them, because what I'm going to do now is bring each of these drives online one at a time, and then once it pops up in Disk Utility, there we go, I can select it, try to format it, and if it's successful, then I'll know the drive works and I can move on to the next. So yeah, 3 down, 31 more to go. Okay, well, after quite a lot of time, there are 4 jerks who decided not to work. But yeah, this is what it looks like when there are 30 USB floppy disks mounted on a desktop. All right, so what do you think the chances are of all of these just working together in a raid first try? Well, let's find out. So we have 30 floppy disks here. What we're going to do is select the first one, choose RAID, and I'm going to call this Mega Floppy, MS-DOS, and Striped. Now we just have to drag all of these over. All right, there's no way this is going to just work, is there? Let's find out. RAID estimated size, 42.2 megabytes of floppy disks. Well, as a shocker to no one, it didn't just work. After about almost 20 minutes, I got this nonsensical error creating RAID set failed because it could not add a RAID disk to a RAID. Okay, so maybe one of these drives isn't playing nice. It would be nice if it told me which one instead of just could not add a RAID disk. Okay, so this definitely does work because I just got 4 of the floppy disks to RAID together into a nice 5.4 megabyte super floppy, and yeah, it works just fine. So yeah, let's trial and error some of these floppy drives. All right, there it is, Mega Floppy. And here I thought this was going to be easy. Haha, I'll just RAID a bunch of floppy disks together. It'll be funny. But no, this was a horrible, horrible pain, and yeah, pretty much nothing went right. Out of 34 floppies, 13 would RAID together correctly. And I figured this out by going one by one, starting from one known working floppy disk and trying each floppy against it, trying to make 2 floppy RAIDs to see was it possible to RAID them together. And then once I had a pile of working ones, I tried to RAID those together, but no, it didn't work. So then I just one at a time added disks to the pile until they RAIDed together. And then when one didn't RAID together, I put it in the reject pile and yeah, wound up with 13. And this horrible pile doesn't work, or at least won't RAID together under Mac OS X. But hey, at least we have a Mega Floppy RAID now, so let's have some fun and see if all of this hassle was in any way worth it. Okay, let's see what the write speeds are like on the Mega Floppy RAID with a little bit of DD magic in the command line. We'll just write a bunch of zeros to it and see how fast it goes in Activity Monitor. Yeah, up to 226K per second. Awesome. Let's do a little bit of a bigger file. Well, those floppy drives are really singing. Yep, 226, 310 kilobytes per second. Now that is fast. Well, now that we have our strong and reliable RAID of floppy disks, let's use it and install some games on it. But what's going to fit in like 18 megabytes? Let's drag chess over. Oh yeah, installing chess on the Mega Floppy. That is not fast. Hey, but we're getting like a megabyte per second. All right. Launching chess from the Mega Floppy. Totally normal. Well, that is taking quite a while to start up. All right, a solid 2 minutes later, and we have chess running off of the floppy RAID. Perfect. Oh, I forgot that you can, like, talk to it. I'm no good at chess. Oh, maybe I'm great at chess. All right, well, it does work. Not particularly quickly. Let's move some more stuff over there. iChat, sure, you can live there. Not enough space. Sherlock? Okay, so that'll do it for today's floppy infested video. And I have a whole bunch of floppy disks that failed, and a couple drives that worked, and quite a lot of drives that just did not want to raid and play nice with the other ones. And I'm not quite sure why. It might have to do with speed and maybe Mac OS X, especially older versions can't really handle differences in speed between different drives, but even drives from the same manufacturer, a bunch of IBM ones worked, and then this IBM one just didn't want to raid with the rest of them. So yeah, I have a feeling I'd have better luck under Linux, and I kind of really love this idea, so I might just do that. I think it might be hilarious to set up a NAS with a whole bunch of floppy drives, and maybe I can even find some more. But that'll do it for today's video. I hope you had as much fun watching me suffer as I did actually suffering with all of these floppy drives. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more floppy shenanigans like this, please subscribe down below, and thank you very much for watching. And a special thanks to Adrian, B. Perkins, Camilla Noseda, Chris Allegretta, Chris Briggs, Chris Calderon, Chris Nelson, Cobalt Retro Tech, Daniel Hubbard, Greg from Rutk Mods, Ryan, and Scott Thompson, who are my highest tiered patrons, and all of my Patreon supporters who help to make these videos possible.